I talk a lot on innovation and creativity with the corporate world, and I think a lot of times people are, how do you get creative? I want to tell you, it's having an open mind. Let me give you an example I love to share. There was let me tell you. Do you remember when there was a strike, maybe about 15 years ago, and they had to get products from Chicago to Indianapolis, and it was a trucker strike. I don't know if I was living in the Midwest at that time. They were shooting at the trucks, they were shooting at the truckers, the tires. It was mean. And you know how they did it? They put a nun in a yellow school bus with the products they needed to get shipped. Who? Who shoots at nuns in school buses? Now, when I talk about creativity in your business, do you get what I'm saying? It's really looking at simple solutions and problem solving. So, once opportunity knocks, the other issue is, are you tapping into it? You've got to tap into that source. And I think a lot of people just, they don't hear it. First of all, they don't hear the knock, they don't perceive it accurately, or they don't tap into it. It's not a matter of what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens. And now I will share a little bit of myself. And it's interesting that people say, I think they see a lot of us speakers and think, oh my God, they just got it all together. I know where I have it together, I know where I don't. That's why Gigi's in the picture. And so it'll be a better piece of the pie. But I don't want to belabor it. Yeah, I was married to an alcoholic. Was it challenging? We're really good friends now. It's easier living, or it's easier being friends with an alcoholic than it is being married to one. Is this not true? And I always say we have a strange and wonderful divorce. He's strange, and I'm wonderful. And so that puts that one to rest. Husband number 2, again. You know, do we learn from our mistakes? I feel like I might be a slow learner at times. Because this one I'm not such good friends with, but he chose to embezzle after we were divorced. He never had a job, and I kind of, you know, it's one thing to take care of your kids as a single parent, it's another to take care of a man that finds it very comfortable to live off of you. And he ended up embezzling because he had the keys to my house. I hired him because I felt sorry for him, and I had him, you know, gave him 25% for every gig he would get. He found my checkbooks. He knows I don't check my check statements. I don't even open them. So he knew all of my bad habits, and he capitalized on it. Oh yes, and I went after him and I won. That was another $8 grand down the drain. Why? Because when I went to collect, he filed bankruptcy. You know, there's an old saying, don't play with pigs because the pigs love it and you get dirty. So, anyway, so, you know, there are these situations, and I guess I would have to say I am a survivor. Back in Green Bay, Wisconsin, I did well, and as a single parent, I did make a few million. No tricks, no lottery, no sugar daddies. God, no, I just told you about them. I want to master that. My sister has done that very well. I really, she golfs every day. Now, what happened though, I'm very trusting. How many of you tend to be too trusting? It's kind of a female gene. Not probably the best thing. I sometimes wish I had grown up in the Bronx of New York City, because I think I'd have been a little more on the defensive. But yeah, I trusted a stockbroker, and a lot of it kind of went south. And then I came to North Carolina, and I bought a ton of properties, 35 or 25, a lot of them, and Fran hit. And so all of a sudden I'm paying on properties that no longer exist, they're under the ocean. And you know, somebody said, have you contemplated suicide? No. I'm very serious. It was one of the realtors down there asked me if I contemplated suicide. And I said, no, I never considered it a problem-solving skill or a viable alternative. And so I find it interesting that I honestly never have shared any of these stories because I'm still happy. I've kind of forgotten that. And it hurts because I put a lot of hard effort and sweat equity and didn't always see my kids play soccer to make that money that I foolishly gave away. But I'll tell you, here's the difference. I have never, ever lost faith in myself. And I'll tell you right now that fear is never compatible with faith in one's heart. Oh, wow. You like that?
I do.
I stole it. And I thought, wow, that is a nugget, isn't it? You know what? As long as you never lose faith and hope, faith in yourself and hope in what you can do, you don't contemplate suicide. And you know, it's really all about having a sense of choice. Because this is serious. I'm living, Deanna's seen it, I'm living in a little cottage, till my house sells. And there's a they call it a mansion on HGTV. I think it has more reruns than MASH and Gone with the Wind, because it's been on HGTV for 3 years, and talk about perception. Every time it's on, I either get hate mail or love mail. I either remind them of their favorite aunt, or I get these scathing letters, and I'm thinking, you're all seeing the same movie. Isn't it interesting how those perceptions vary? But you've seen the house, it's lovely. It's a 6,000 square foot Mediterranean villa on water, but I like it where I am. And you know what I've learned? I like the simplicity. This little cottage that will get torn down is smaller than my bedroom closet. The guy owes me 50 grand in rent. That's another problem. And hopefully he'll buy it. But the interest, and so I can kick him out. I've got 7 days, and I can kick him out and go back. But you know what else we learn? It's just ask yourself the question, what makes you happy? And the other day, I don't have all my beautiful artwork and statues. I got 7 storage units. I have nothing. But the other day, I found some bowls in this little shed I put up. And they're beautiful bowls. I got them at General Dollar for $1.50. They were really expensive. But they're hand-painted, and they made me happy. And what I've become aware of, how some of the little simple things in life can make you happy. And I just needed those bowls, because every morning when I eat my Cheerios, I'm nourished spiritually as well as physically because of those little bowls from the General Dollar. The other thing I've realized, and I will be building again, that I really feel more creative, making a difference in the world, developing a character building for children that I plan to get in the hands of every child in the universe. And that's my commitment. Than it is building another house. Now I have to, just for practical reasons, and I will. But I've also realized how much the simplicity of this cottage is. When I say I'm going to clean it, it takes 7 minutes. You don't clean a 6,000 square foot house in 7 minutes. And I have to tell you, because I have a German Lutheran mother that lived through the Depression. Does anybody have one like that? And Lutheran besides. Wisconsin Synod Lutheran. Does anybody know what that means? And so in the summer, this little cardboard box makes $150 a night, and I slip in and sleep in the boat. And it's only a 19-foot boat. Do you know what? I'm almost 6 feet. 19 feet is about twice my height. So we're not talking about a luxury liner. Now again, I can kick him out and go back and live in a very lovely home back there. And one night it was sopping rain, and I'm 65, and I'm thinking, why am I doing this? And the answer was, because I choose to. And when we have a sense of choice, there is a sense of power and control and mastery in my life. I'm on one of the best places on Lake Norman. And I don't care if I'm sleeping in my boat. I want to wake up in the morning and see what I see. And that's when we know what our passions are, what brings us meaning, and what brings us value. Because to most people, I am insane. I choose to do so. So, once you know what your passion is and your value, and I think one of the ways that people really get off track is simply that if you're passionate about it and you want to make money on it, you got to think again.